Martinez.
Good save by Martinez again.
And Emi Martinez with a big hand for Aston Villa.
Not long ago, Emi Martinez was one of the hottest goalkeepers on the planet, a champion of the world, a penalty-stopping god. Fast forward a few years to today, and Emi Martinez is one of the most hated footballers in England. His invincible aura is gone, and even his own club is pushing him out. But why? Martinez's story as a footballer is almost unheard of. He wasn't some star-studded youth picked up by a scouting talent out of nowhere that climbed his way to the top. In fact, it was like the football gods themselves tried their hardest to keep this man irrelevant. And it might explain why he grew into the person or player he would later become. Martinez started out for Independiente's youth team, out in his home country of Argentina. He was only 17, but he made enough of an impression that a scout from a Premier League club thought he might be worth a punt. That club was Arsenal, who was looking for a backup keeper that could potentially develop into a future prospect, or at the very least make them some transfer money later down the road. The scout invites Martinez to try his luck in London when a European club offers a young Argentine player a chance, especially one of the size of Arsenal. It's hard for him to say no. So Martinez moved to North London and signed a contract with the Gunners to serve as backup keeper. Believe it or not, this is where Martinez spent the vast majority of his career. From 2010 to 2019, he stayed on the bench behind main Arsenal keepers like Cech, Szczęsny and Fabianski. He'd come on now and then for the odd FA Cup game or when the main man went down injured, but spent the majority of his time on loan. Most Arsenal fans wouldn't have been able to tell you his name. Martinez was far from a bad keeper. He just wasn't showing enough to make a first-team squad, at least in the English First Division. Still in his late 20s in 2019, he racked up plenty of experience. It just seemed like his chance at glory would never come. Then, that game happened. 2020, Arsenal versus Brighton. Peak lockdown football. Arsenal, whose squad is far away from being its best, to put it kindly, at least have a solid keeper between the sticks. Bernd Leno. Leno is a great shot stopper and plays a key role in keeping the team afloat during a very rough period. But Neil Maupay, a French player, crashes into him mid-game, causing a season-ending injury. It's absolute chaos on the pitch as both teams lose their heads and get into a big brawl. For Arsenal fans, it's a disaster. They figure without Leno, their season is well and truly over. For Martinez, it's a huge opportunity. With Leno out of the team, he has a half season of games to prove himself to the fans and the rest of the league. Arsenal fans brace themselves for the worst. To their shock, it's like Leno never got injured. Martinez makes brilliant save after brilliant save and manages to play out the back with the rest of the team like he's been in the starting 11 for years. The defense in front of him is shaky, but Martinez has a real commanding presence about him that gives Arsenal a foundation to work with. It's in the FA Cup where he really shines. After dispatching Portsmouth, Sheffield United and Bournemouth, and only conceding 2 goals, Arsenal draw Manchester City in the semi-finals. Everyone figures it's over for Arsenal, that City will tear through their centre-backs and pepper their goal. Here, Martinez steps up big time. City pile on the pressure like crazy with their top quality, but they just can't fool the Arsenal keeper, a guy they've never even heard of before. He manages to dive down and snatch away the near-post chances like they're nothing. This gives Aubameyang the platform to steal a 2-0 lead, and Arsenal secure a spot in the final. The finals, a London derby against Chelsea, another tough opponent. It's Arsenal's last chance to salvage the season. Martinez steps up once again. He concedes early, but again is so strong in goal that he gives Auba the chance to put the team ahead 2-1 and win the FA Cup.
Oh, what a finish from Pierre-Emerick!
It's hard to understate just how important this win is to Martinez. The cameras pick up on him in tears, calling his family back home during the celebrations to share in the joy. He's gone from an unknown backup keeper to the Arsenal superstar that's played a massive part in securing an FA Cup win against all odds. Fans aren't asking when Leno's going to come back anymore. They're asking, will Leno be able to get his spot back in the team? Martinez learns two things that day. The first is that he's a top-class keeper, ready to start for a big club. The second is that he loves the spotlight, especially when he wins. The attention, the glory, the fame, it's all so addicting. Little does he know, an FA Cup win is about to look like a walk in the park compared to what comes next. By sheer luck of the draw, Martinez is now a well-respected keeper in the league. He makes a transfer to Aston Villa that summer and continues putting in great performances for the side. So much so that he helps Villa do the double over his former club that very same season. As time goes on, fans start to notice something about Martinez. While he was fairly quiet and reserved on the bench, the guy's built up a serious attitude now that he's regularly out on the pitch. He plays mind games with penalty takers. And he taunts the crowd whenever they miss, like when he thrust his hips at the United crowd after Bruno Fernandes skied a last-minute penalty at Old Trafford. It should have been Ronaldo, he told Fernandes. Martinez is a total menace. Villa fans love it, everyone else calls him a hothead. But nobody hates him more than Arsenal fans. Yeah, you heard that right. The same fans that lauded Martinez as a hero now hate his guts. Why? Because the keeper did an interview where he described the move to Villa as a step up.
That's why I decided to come here. I believe that the club is going forward.
A little miscommunication maybe, but considering all his other antics, he's already painted a target on his back. Either way, a confident Martinez is seen as an arrogant firebrand, but it's only arrogance if you can't back it up, and the man definitely can. On the international stage, he was doing just that. Following his solid first season at Villa, the Argentine national team called up Martinez to play in the 2021 Copa America. In the semi-finals, Martinez comes out the hero once again by putting in a monster of a performance during the penalty shootout against Colombia. He saves 3 penalties with his amazing skills and usual mind game antics, securing Argentina a spot in the final. In the final, which is against Brazil on their home turf of all places, he once again steps up to the plate. Di Maria put Argentina ahead against the hosts, and Martinez makes sure the Brazilians don't even get a sniff of the goal. The final ends 1-0, and once again, Martinez is a champion. The Argentines go back home wild, and they hail him a hero of the nation for defeating their arch-rivals in their own backyard. Just a few years ago, the man was playing for Rotterdam. Martinez's ego is now the size of a blimp, but it's only going to get bigger. 2022 rolls around, and the World Cup is held in the later months of the year out in Qatar. Following their continental victory, Argentina are hoping to make the real dream come true. Chances are, I don't need to tell you what happens next. Martinez climbs to a whole new level, making unreal save after unreal save. In the quarter-final against the Netherlands, he saves the day by stopping 2 pens from Van Dijk and Burgess to make it 4-3 in the shootout, keeping Argentina in the competition. A tidy 3-0 clean sheet against Croatia earns them a place in the final against France. This is where Martinez earns his legend status. Not only does he make an outrageously good save with his leg to deny Kolo Muani a late winner in extra time, which pundits call one of the greatest saves of all time, but he also saves a penalty from Kingsley Coman in the shootout to give his country the World Cup. Golden Glove, Best Goalkeeper of the Year award, the World Cup, the man who saved an entire nation. Martinez might as well be a god. His head is on Pluto, and for good reason. Neil Maupay didn't realise it, but injuring Leno back in 2020 set off a chain of events that made his country lose the World Cup and catapulted Martinez to stardom. But pride cometh before the fall, and Martinez is about to fall very, very hard. You're about to see why. If you thought Martinez had a big ego before, the World Cup win makes it gargantuan. The first mark of his downfall comes mere minutes after the final whistle, when he's handed the prestigious Golden Glove award by the hosts. Martinez takes the trophy and puts it on his groin with a thrusting motion. It's not a good look, even for Martinez. The public doesn't like it at all. Everyone's used to the cheeky antics of the keeper, but this is a step too far, and it's considered really crass. People start to see everything he does after that in a bit of a different light. Like when he held up an Mbappe doll on the open bus parade to mock the French striker. The same striker who put 4 past him that very same game, by the way. Reports come out that Martinez is also a loudmouth in the dressing room, and one man in particular really isn't impressed by his attitude. In October 2022, Villa were in serious trouble. Steven Gerrard's side had barely avoided relegation the previous season, and things were looking grim once again. Martinez was pretty much the only shining light in an otherwise pretty dim time. Gerrard was forced out, and a new manager stepped up to the plate. For Martinez, this represented a great opportunity, the chance to wipe the slate clean and earn some glory in club football, until he saw who exactly it was that walked through the club doors. None other than Unai Emery himself. The two men looked at each other and grimaced. They both knew this wasn't going anywhere good. But why would Emery, a solid, dependable coach with a great track record, take issue with a top-level keeper like Martinez, even after his glorious win with Argentina in the World Cup? Well, remember, Martinez was with Arsenal for a very long time, and Emery served as the Arsenal manager for around 18 months. So the two worked with each other before. Emery took a massive dislike to Martinez during that time, as the backup keeper kept pushing to start ahead of Leno, but Emery never gave him the chance, sending him out on loan instead. Since then, the two couldn't stand each other, and the new manager didn't hide this from the media. Reports came out almost immediately that Emery complained again and again about Martinez's rudeness and poor attitude. In fact, there was a lot to talk about, Emery even kicking his keeper out of the club entirely come the summer. It takes a lot for fans to turn against great players, and Martinez had definitely developed a following among Villa fans. But the charm was starting to wear off. Martinez's showboating made him more enemies among rival fans, and that backfired badly when he couldn't back it up. One of the worst instances came against Arsenal during the Gunners' title charge in the second half of the 22-23 season. Villa had taken the lead twice, then dropped it both times, and were trying to see out a 2-2 draw. Then Jorginho struck the ball on the edge of the box. Martinez leapt to stop it, but it flew past him, hit the crossbar, and bounced off his head into the back of the net. The Arsenal fans went wild and taunted him from the away end. It only got worse when Villa went up for a corner, and Martinez went against Emery's instructions to stay in goal, deciding to go up and join the rest of the team. Arsenal hit Villa on the break and put the ball in the back of the open net to win 4-2. Emery wasted no time coming out to criticise the keeper's decision-making, and the Arsenal fans who had once loved him mocked him endlessly. Still, Villa secured back-to-back European spots, including a place in the Champions League in the 23-24 season. So the criticisms about Martinez's antics on the pitch were a little muted, but still present. Everything fell apart in 24-25, however. Martinez's performance, though still good on the whole, started to drop from his peak levels. Villa had an okay season, finishing 6th, but fans felt they had stagnated a little. That season, Emery made his move clear and planned to sign Marco Bizot, the Dutch keeper from Brest. Martinez seemingly knew he was on the way out. On the final game of the season, he waved a tearful goodbye to the Villa fans. A move to either Saudi or a European club on the mainland seemed certain. His heyday was over, and most in the league were happy to see him go. Only that move didn't happen. Something went wrong along the way, and Martinez is still at Villa, coming on now and then to play between the sticks, but he's far from a guaranteed starter. Emery has made it crystal clear who he prefers. When asked about Martinez in an interview, Emery repeated 2 words to every single question: Marco Bizot. The interview became a meme, but also cemented that this was not going to be a season where Martinez would be very prominent. From the dizzying heights of being a champion of the world, Martinez is now right back where he started, benched in favour of another keeper, firmly stuck under Unai Emery's thumb. largely forgotten.